Hari Om. The last satsang we did the seventh quality, Shaucham, which meant purity. Purity is not about being clean, is not about being pure. Rather, it is being conscious of dirt or being conscious of imperfections. And the degree of your conscious level of you being conscious, the degree of the level of you being conscious determines how acute you are of imperfections. Now, as you spiritually evolve, your awareness of being conscious of imperfections will become more sharper. So it all starts with external going internal. So we said external start with keeping your environment clean, conscious of external dirt, imperfections. Then you move to your closer to yourself is keeping yourself physically, ensuring your limbs are strong, keep yourself fit and active. At the mental level, keep your mind pure of any negative emotions, keeping your mind calm, keeping your intellect alert, and then moving to the level of your vasanas, ultimately the mala or dirt with reference to the spiritual level is to cleanse yourself of your vasanas. So it is external, physical, you're dynamic, mental, you're equanimous, intellectual, you have the clarity, and the vasana level, you are free from the vasanas. And when we come to the vasanas, the grosser vasanas drop off first, and then the subtle vasanas drop off later. This is how the progression is. So the subtler vasanas have a stronger hold on you. The grosser vasanas will go away. So the grosser base vasanas, you will not be able to appreciate or entertain certain interests which you had in your earlier stages. You will find a sense of meaninglessness, a sense of it. You find it very trivial. You find it very hollow. The same thing which you were engaged in at a later stage, you have dropped the value for it. So that's a sign that the vasana is what vasana is. Vasana is nothing but an appreciation for something. So that will drop away. Okay. Now moving in further into the qualities, the eighth quality. Now all these 8 qualities have been presented in the 8th verse. The 8th verse of the 13th chapter gave 8 qualities. Now the 8th quality of a jnani is sthairiam. Sthairiam means one who is steadfast, or the quality of steadfastness is sthairiam. Steadfastness can also be described as having that consistency of purpose. Now, many people may have an interest, may have a talent, but what gives you success is having this quality of being steadfast or consistency to that action. So if you are not able to inject the quality of steadfastness, you will not achieve success. So it's not what you do that matter, how consistently you're able to do it is important, whether be it exercise, whether be it studies, whether be it charity, whatever it is. If you do once in a while exercise, it will not show in your health. Once in a while you open the books and study. Oh, I've got up Brahma Muhurta when? When was it last you got up? 2 months ago, sir. I've been trying, but if you do once in 2 months, it means you're only doing 6 months in a year. You don't expect your sattva to go high. You don't expect yourself to evolve. So what is important is to ensure that your actions becomes. What is consistency? Consistency is nothing but repeating the same action again and again, again and again. Repeat. Consistency is to repeat the same action again and again. Now there is a question hidden in this statement. Intentionally, I didn't complete the statement. Now, when you do an action again and again, what is the often complaint people say? I would like to ask Prakash Ragaru. Sir, when somebody does the same action again and again, what is the general complaint people give, sir?
They may say that you are disturbing you don't have any work.
No, that is others, sir. Others may complain that you are doing something. I'm not talking of others complaining. I'm talking about when you do an action again and again, the general tendency or general complaint people have. What is the complaint people have? So I'm sure you'll agree with me. Many people experience a sense of, when you're doing something again and again, a sense of monotony kicks in, sir.
For whom?
For the person who's doing it. You may become monotonous doing the same thing again and again.
But that becomes a practice, sir.
Correct, sir. You are of a seeker. I'm talking of a lay person. A general complaint people may have is that it becomes monotonous. Now, how do you ensure an action doesn't become a monotony? Rather, it becomes a diligent practice. That's the question.
You will find more time, sir.
Sir, can I request you to repeat the question, sir? Next time I go to Taj Mahal, he will say, don't give breakfast to him. He keeps troubling me in the class. Because I'm troubling you in the class now, no? Whenever I go, I ensure that I have your darshan. Huh?
It is not
along with the darshan of the idli vada, I'll have your darshan also, sir. Next time you will say, no darshan of me, no darshan of idli vada. Huh? So the question is, when people do an action repeatedly, it may become monotonous. So how to ensure an action doesn't develop a monotony, yet it becomes a diligent practice. Because the quality is you must have consistency of purpose, you must have steadfastness. In the context, this is how the question is phrased. So what is the answer to this? Think along, sir. I will not trouble you further. Keeping my vada in mind, I will not trouble you further. Very selfish, I am, sir. Panigre ji, boliye.
Guruji, what I believe is that it's not important to do different things, but it is important to do things differently. That is what we were taught in this thing management. That you may not be doing some new things all the time. So
Okay.
if you are doing it differently, if your perception is different, because it's all the more important to have or nourish a different perception about your work. To some people, the work is a monotony. To some people, they see a lot of creativity in that. To some people, they approach the problem in a different this thing. So to do things differently, that itself will give a lot of this thing satisfaction and creativity.
Sir, every day you go to same office, no?
Yes, yes.
Every day you do your work differently, is it?
There
Then
are
your
certain
office,
there are four
then your
types
people who
of
are
job.
working under you will be confused. Which way will our boss will act today?
No, Guruji, actually there are four types of job, broadly speaking. One is
Ah,
a transactional job, another is a transformational job in which you have to really apply your mind and a lot of creativity is required. Then third one is that if you are able to handle the legacy issues, then that also will pave the way for a lot of scope. You will find a lot of time to do different things. And सबसे most important is to do the transformational job. Supposing somebody
correct.
is accustomed, somebody is familiar with certain thing, that doesn't mean that there is no issue. So people
Hmm.
maybe they are not knowing that this thing can also be approached in a different manner. So it's
Now, I agree with
the
you,
approach that
Panikaji.
makes.
I agree with you that you have to have a uniqueness to your work, but with reference to the quality of consistency, I'm sure you agree that what gives you success is consistency. Take an example for exercise. What would give you health is consistent, whether you go to the gym or do you yoga or you go for a walk or you jog, whatever you do consistently, you get the results. You get the point. Now, with reference to that, there was a question asked. Can you repeat the question, sir? What time you slept this morning?
You are asking me, Guruji?
Yes, sir. I'm with you only, sir.
In fact, I reached home yesterday around 1 o'clock. So
Ah,
I got up little late. I was little feeling feverish also. अभी बीच में मैं थोड़ा मेरा वीडियो ऑफ करके गया था. Now I had booked that blood test for that Apollo fellow had come. So I was just. I'm sorry.
नहीं,
I
नहीं.
could notice the question. I thought ki how to break monotony if you are repeatedly doing the same thing. I thought ki that is the question.
Sir, everything is pardoned, sir, because we have been invited by Panigreji invited us yesterday. We were a part of a grand event, 50 years of the NTPC's success, and we are a part of a huge gathering, and we were showered by the kind hospitality by Panigraji. It happened at Hyderabad in a beautiful setup.
I don't.
I knew he was
I
thick and thin of organizing, and I knew I got your message from your 12:45 in the morning. I knew you would have come back way late. So no issues, Panigraji. Thanks to you.
I thought, Guruji, you are asking the question. Supposing you are doing the same thing again and again, That is definitely creating monotony. How to break that? That was, I thought, that is the
Now,
question.
how to, yeah, in a sense, okay, we'll ask Shamalama. I know she is writing down very seriously the points. She'll repeat the question. Answer paravalle, neenga question kudungo.
Question, I cannot repeat. Hari Om, pronounce Guruji. Happy Yugadi to all of you.
Thank you. Same to you all. Yes, ma.
I was thinking along the lines of the question. I may not be able to repeat the question as it is, Guruji, but in terms of music, if you ask me how to break the monotony.
Ma, can I request you to hold on the answer? I just want the question to be correct, whether answering the right question. Don't get yourself muted. I'll ask Harish. Can you repeat the question, Harish?
Guruji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The question is, how do you ensure that an action doesn't become a monotony, but becomes a diligent practice?
A diligent, consistent practice. How do you ensure that? Yes, ma. Now you can answer the question, ma.
Can I answer from the point of view of music practice?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So initially, we all know there can be monotony for a short period of time, but as you practice, you start observing that there is a progress.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere you have made a progress, and you also note that yes, here I can improve here by making this nuance. I can add this and make that nuance and make it more graceful. This is all in context to music I'm talking, Guruji. So you become more observant of your own practice. You're conscious of what you're doing and how you're doing it.
I get you. I can relate to what you're saying. But the question is how to switch from monotony to a diligent practice where your action has a certain enthusiasm. The opposite of monotony is an enthusiasm. You look forward to doing it.
Yes.
So how to switch from monotony? Considering I'm doing the same action. Action is not same. Sorry, action is not different. It's the same action I'm doing. In some cases, it becomes monotony. In some cases, it becomes an inspiration. How to ensure that? So there's one essential element that is missing. And that if you are able to get that, which answers the question. Think along.
We need to infuse enthusiasm. And
no, you can't infuse artificial enthusiasm.
No, you should have a vasana for that.
No, considering you have a vasana for that. Considering, I am not pushing you to do something which you are not interested in. Then there's no question of doing something which you're not interested in. Get it?
Dedication.
Again, then these are dedication. You may again say that it's close to consistency. You know, you're dedicatedly doing something very diligently, very consistently, you know, with so much commitment to it.
Yes. How do you? I'm not getting
no
it.
Issues. Not at all, man, not at all. Think along, think along. Harish, I hope the answer also will be right.
Understanding that there is a goal towards the action. So you will have a purpose for that action, that there is a goal for the greater good for yourself. So using that approach with that thought pattern, that you work towards the enthusiasm versus the monotony, knowing that there is a goal in place for your greater good.
Now, I give you 100% marks for that. That goal is that which ensures your actions develop an inspiration, Now, what aspect of the goal makes your actions inspirational? What aspect of the goal makes your actions consistent? Now, two subsequent questions have emerged. What aspect of the goal makes your actions inspirational? What aspect of the goal makes your actions consistent? Two different answers, yet both are linked to the right answer of the goal. And if that element is missing, actions become monotonous. I repeat the question if you have missed it. What aspect of the goal makes your actions inspirational? What aspect of the goal makes your actions consistent?
Guruji, I need about a few minutes to process. May I come back to you on this? I just need to think a little bit.
Absolutely. Take your time, sir. Take your time. Meanwhile, let me check with Suresh. Yes, sir. Suresh, I want answer to the question, sir.
I think the all important.
One minute. Are you the right person?
I have a new pair of spectacles, so I think you may be.
No, no.
Thinking-
Looks like I need to change my spectacles. I thought online you appear different, physically you appear different. There is something. What is going on? You're the same person, sir?
I really do not know.
Yes, sir. You're looking a little younger, sir. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, but I think that is in the eyes of the beholder. The credit is not mine.
I knew poetry is. Why is it not come yet? I was wondering. Now answer. Repeat the question. Today I'm in a very strict form. Repeat the question first.
Yeah. So, which dimension makes the person consistent and remarkably consistent is what I would think.
ஐயோ இத क्वेश्चனே சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. What is the question?
நீங்க யங்னு சொன்னா நான் क्वेश्चனை மறந்துட்டேன்.
I know. The question is, which aspect of the goal makes your actions inspirational?
Yeah. The fact that, the jnani, he dedicates all his actions to the divine because he is connected to the divine. His ultimate goal in whatever he does, he ensures that his connect with the divine never ceases. So he doesn't work for the fruit of his actions. He dedicates all his actions to the divine. And therefore, it becomes an act of great love. So even if it is a repeated action, he pours all his love into it because he is an instrument of the divine. He is ordained by the divine to do that. Whatever he does, you refer to physical exercise. Unless I do my physical exercise, this kshetra or the body will not cooperate with me in my ultimate goal of becoming one with the divine. And therefore, he sees everything as a dedication to the divine and his biggest goal of becoming one with the divine. And that ensures the tremendous consistency in his action.
I am lost in the divine, sir. So in case you have not got the message what Suresh is implying, you are talking from at an absolute level where a jnani is able to identify with the highest goal. So the question is, what aspect of the goal makes actions inspirational? Is the very nature of the goal. A goal has to be unselfish in nature. Only an unselfish cause inspires an action. No selfish cause can motivate you. selfish actions becomes monotony. So when we say a goal, what aspect of the goal makes actions inspirational is the unselfish nature of the goal. So whatever you're doing the work, whether you're singing music, if you're practicing music to bring reputation and fame to yourself, that action will not inspire you. If you are singing to offer that singing as an offering to the Lord, as a token of my gratitude, of my love to the Lord, that very song, that very sadhana will inspire you, because it has got a higher purpose. It has a nobler cause. It could be cooking at home, it could be sweeping, it could be driving, it could be talking this Vedanta, anything for that matter. It has to have an unselfish purpose, Harish. When you say which aspect of the goal, it has to be unselfish. Unselfish, grades of unselfishness leading up to selflessness. So the work that you do, does it have that tinge of unselfishness, is very, very important. And that's what makes actions inspirational. Now, the second half of the question, Ramji.
Hari Om, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the second part of the question is what aspect of the goal makes actions consistent?
Mhm.
And you also said that this is also, I mean, these two answers are interconnected in a way. So first one, of course, is unselfish and higher purpose. Second one, I think, is it's a inconsistency comes out of the mind, and I think consistency comes out of the use of intellect to actually keep the mind under control, because that is what makes it consistent.
Perfect, spot on, sir. Consistency comes because of the
Use of intellect.
participation exists, or the role played by the intellect, which ensures your mind does not get
Waver,
distracted,
yeah.
waver.
Yeah.
And how is that connected to the goal?
Because then the goal is also a product of using your intellect. That because if you leave it to the mind may not conceive that goal.
Okay, if intellect conceive, it is the intellect that conceives the goal, please.
Yeah.
What does the mind conceive?
The mind brings kind of emotion into the goal, in the sense that commitment to the goal.
No.
Hmm.
You said when you follow the mind, actions become.
Correct.
Now, still hold on to that aspect only.
Okay.
Now, what does the mind present which will make your actions inconsistent? So, what does the mind present is the question.
Mind makes it inconsistent because of its attraction to the world. So the mind is always interacting with the world and then getting tempted with other things. So the mind always finds reasons to leave the track and go up into the world.
In philosophical terms, mind presents multifold desires.
Desires, yeah.
Mind runs after desires, intellect runs behind a goal.
Yeah.
So there can be many, many distractions in the course of your journey. But you are very clear, I am not interested in the distractions. I'm only interested in my goal. See, I can actually envision where I would be next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. how the work will evolve, work will consume, which would require perhaps me to go to places on invitation, travel to spread these works of Sanatana Dharma. Now, when there is that demand for you to go places, I could easily get distracted by travel. I could get distracted by, as a tourism, see places, this and that. But if my focus is clear, I'm there just with the objective of spreading this knowledge or wisdom. I'm not interested in sightseeing. I'm not interested in entertainment. I'm not interested in shopping. I'm not interested in that or this. So if your focus is very clear, there could be many distractions that come. So your mind should not fall a prey. Just an example I'm giving you. There could be many things that could draw your mind, get fascinated with things in the journey. But to say no to what the mind gets fascinated with, but become very clear, what is my goal? What is my purpose? So to the answer which Harish gave, that you need to have a goal to make your actions consistent, the two questions that sprung, what aspect of the goal makes your action inspirational is unselfishness. What aspect of the goal which makes your actions consistent is the intellect, and it's the intellect that conceives the goal. And to ensure, to sum up this particular quality of steadfastness, the 9th chapter, 22nd verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the geometrical center of the Gita, the 701 verses, the very center, the pivot on which perhaps the Gita is balanced, 300 verses on this side, 300 verses on this side. The very pivot on which the Bhagavad Gita is balancing is on the 9th chapter, 22nd verse. And the very famous verse which talks of this consistency, which says, Ananyaschintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Can you pull out that verse, Ma? Do we have that with us? Okay. Very, very famous verse. Ananya Chinta. Ananyash Chintayanto Mam. Chinta is thinking. Many a time we have Anya Chinta. Too many thinking. The mind has got too many thoughts. But to make that Ananya. So Chinta is thinking. Anya Chinta, too many thinking. Ananya means no other thinking except that goal that I want to seek. So once having conceived the goal, you ensure that your mind doesn't think of anything else but the goal. Means anything that I do, I'm thinking in terms of whether this action is going to take me to my goal. Yes, there you go. To those men who worship me, thinking of nothing else, to those ever seeking union, I grant them yoga, which is spiritual union, and kshema, supreme bliss at the material level. So whether you are seeking material success or you are seeking spiritual union, the formula for achieving success is a kind of single-pointed commitment, a quality of the intellect, and your actions can be consistent, and your actions are consistent based on, okay? Your actions are consistent based on what?
On the goal you have, the unselfish goal you have conceived, and also the strength of your intellect, Guruji.
I would actually take the second answer.
Okay.
The consistent actions depends directly on the strength of your intellect. How strong is your intellect? Whatever goal you may choose.
Yeah.
How does it matter? As long as it's a goal, whether you want to uplift your local community, if that's your goal. Let's say in the community, in and around, there are people who are underprivileged and you want to go and uplift them. Okay. If you keep that as your goal, that is a goal.
Yeah.
But how consistently you will be able to do that is
Depends on your
the strength of the intellect.
yes, Guruji.
Doesn't matter what goal it is. So your mind becomes an impediment to making your actions consistent.
Yes.
If your mind comes in, you say, oh, I don't like to go today and exercise. I don't like to do this today. Or you are interested in something else but this.
Yes, Guruji.
Your mind will take you off course.
Yes.
So you're able to connect all these concepts when you talk of consistency, right?
Yes, Guruji.
Right. Wonderful. Now, we'll move on in the list of the 20 qualities. We will have to chant verse 9 from the 13th chapter to attend to the qualities 9, 10, and 11, which appear in the 9th verse of chapter 13. Indriyartheshu vairagyam anaham एव च janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukha doshanudarshanam. Indriyartheshu vairagyam anaham एव च janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukha doshanudarshanam. Can you go back to verse 8, please? I think we missed one quality. I think even quality 9 appears in the 8th verse. I'm sorry for that. I think we'll come back to the 9th after we study the 9th quality. Yeah, a slight confusion. Sorry for that. So the first 9 qualities appear in the 8th verse. Okay. So the 9th quality is Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha means self-control. Even in the, I think this quality is haunting us, no, Gayatri Ma? Where have we been discussing this? In the Kathopanishad also we're talking of control, no? The chariot and the metaphor chariot. So, but you know, the beauty is you can look at it from a different perspective. Now, Atma Vinigraha, Atma is self, Vinigraha means control. Now, when you talk of self-control, there are 2 types of people, obviously. One type of people are extremely indulgent. Other type of people are extremely abstinent. So they lead a life of minimalistic life. Another people go all aboard, maximum. Anything they do is maximum. That kind of indulgent. Now, I'll explain this one statement. Self-control is not a forceful rejection either by the mind or intellect. I repeat the sentence. Self-control is not a forceful rejection either by the mind or the intellect. So what I mean by that is, if a mind by itself rejects something without a rhyme or reason, that is not self-control. Because you say, I don't like it, and you reject it. That means you are keeping distance from that object or distance with reference to that enjoyment. It is not called self-control. Your mind doesn't like it. That is not self-control. So when your mind rejects something without a rhyme or reason, will ultimately actually lead you to suppression, but it is not self-control. Now, intellect also may reject something. Intellect also may reject something, which also may lead you to frustration. You may say, example, eating sweets is injurious to health. It's not good. Injurious means it's going to cause you harm. It's going to cause you damage. So intellect understands the danger in eating sweets. So I am not going to eat any more sweets. Ramji? Look at the smile in Oshama's face. When intellect says, I don't want to eat sweets from here on, intellect, yes, Ramji.
No, sir. Please continue. I was only saying that that is one area where my mind has always overpowered my intellect.
No, but I thought you yourself told me a few times that I have decided not to eat.
Yes. I don't eat nowadays, very little. But I also left for almost 7-8 months at one stroke. So,
Acha.
so that means I can do it.
But then the concept is self-control is not a forceful rejection by either by the mind or the intellect.
It is not forceful. So ideally, if you eat only half gulab jamun and don't go any further, that is self-control. But if you reject gulab jamun completely and not go anywhere near that, that is not self-control.
What sort of how can you practice that, sir? You're giving the most impossible thing to practice. How can you stop with half gulab jamun? Sureshji, it's like saying, I give you an ice cream bowl and say only eat 2 spoons and leave the ice cream, left of the ice cream as it is. What is self-control there?
That is self-control, sir. If you say, I will not eat ice cream at all, then that is not self-control, according to whatever you just told.
Yeah.
It is not it is not a quantitative, sir. Why are you saying quantitative?
No, not quantitative. What I'm saying is that.
In the sense, what did you mean?
In sense, what I meant is that if you can indulge in it in a balanced way, and when it is not there, you don't feel the absence of it.
So you are enjoying it, yet not indulging in it.
Yeah, correct.
You're enjoying it, but there is no indulgence. Means you don't get carried away by that sense enjoyment.
Yeah.
And you
don't feel when it is not there.
Correct. Absolutely. I'm waiting for our prasadam to start to have ice cream again. Last I had when Sureshji got and gave us.
I think, the starting point for what Ramji sir has said, in economics, there is a law which is called the law of diminishing marginal utility. In simple terms, that law can be stated like this. The more you have of a thing, the less you want to have more of it. This is the starting point.
Is this a simple definition or a complicated definition?
This is the simpler form. Actually, this is something which I learned in my +2, but that definition has remained with me for life. Dr. Alfred Marshall, gives this definition. The additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase in his stock diminishes with the growth of the stock he has. In simple terms, it is the more you have of a thing, the less you want to have more of it. So you have one gulab jamun, 2, 3, and then you say, no, Baba, I can't have any more. Enough is enough. That is the starting point. And then you reach as, oh, gulab jamun, I have had enough of it. Come on, let's talk something else. That kind of thing. You transcend the desire because fulfillment of the desire is nothing great. You realize the futility of fulfillment. And then you transcend the desire. So this law has the ability to take us in that direction, is what my submission is.
No, absolutely, sir. Your point is so apt that, self-control is where you, obviously it suggests that you are a total master over the sense pleasure that you derive from sense contact. You have total mastery. And the total mastery comes because you are so well established in the higher wisdom. You understand the relative value of what an object has to give to you. But you remember, we said this, you can only claim self-control where can you claim you have self-control?
When you have the desire for it, at the same time, you don't have it.
Only areas where you have an interest or desire for it. When you have no desire for something, what are you controlling? There's nothing to control, no? So what is a big thing you're boasting about your ability to control? So you have a desire for it. At the same time, you understand the futility or the hollowness of the joy that sense object or that pleasure gives you. So you understand its hollowness because of your establishment in higher wisdom. That kind of approach to experience. So how do you measure self-control? I just want you to hold on because I'll just give you these few steps, a few criteria to measure self-control. Firstly, as I've said, it is not forceful rejection either by the mind or the intellect. It is a graceful contact with the sense object, understanding the futility in what it has to offer, but yet you may have an interest for it. That's where you measure what is your level of self-control. So what are the conditions? First, you must have a desire for the object. Point one. Point one is you must have a desire for the object. Second, the object must be available. 3 months back, if I had talked to you about eating mango, you may say, I have a desire for mango, but summer is not there yet, mango is not available. So what are you controlling self-control for mango? Can't control mango because there's no mango available in the market. So what are you controlling? Is a forcefully you have to wait until the season comes, right? So first, desire for the object. The object must be available in plenty. You must have the capacity to procure the object. You must have the capacity to procure the object. You must have the capacity to enjoy the object. With all these conditions, you understand the futility of the joy in that object. That is self-control. It just amazes. It's just not physically getting away from it, but you are in it. But understand its hollowness. It comes because of the wisdom that you're established in. You understand the relative value, what it has to give. So I repeat, you have the desire for the object should be available, you have the capacity to procure the object, you have the capacity to enjoy the object. Physically, I may have it, but if I can't enjoy it, you say, what's the big deal? That is also Sprashana Vairagyam. No, I have the capacity to enjoy. For example, if I'm extremely diabetic, I'm only giving example, I'm not diabetic. If I'm diabetic and I say, what is the big deal in eating sweets? And I'm not eating sweets because I have lost the capacity to enjoy it. That is not self-control. I don't have diabetes. There is no health issue. I have a desire for sweets. I enjoy it. Right, like Panigreji yesterday night, I was telling Vijaya at the dinner at the Taj Deccan, there was this sweet which was my favorite. And I don't know when is it last I had. It would have been good 4, 5 years I've not had Ramji. That sweet is called, what is it called, Vijaya? What was it called? Yesterday, I don't know the exact name.
Shahi Tukda.
Huh?
Shahi Tukda.
Why tukda?
Shahi. Like double ka meter.
Double ka meter. Some tukda it was. But it was a very good tukda. I have a couple of tukdas. I have the tukda I had. And I've had that after 4 years. Good 3, 4. I can't remember when is it last I had. And I remember I still have a liking for it. But when I saw it, I said I can afford to eat it. I have a value for it. I enjoy it. But I have never gone in search for it. I can easily go and search for it. Desire means you have an appreciation, a taste for it. The object was available. You are able to enjoy it. You're able to acquire it. Yet you don't get Ama. Longer the gap, greater the taste. நீங்க திருப்பி you will say law of diminishing value. இதெல்லாம் சொல்லுவீங்க. The frustration I had for 4 years, யாருக்கு தெரியும்? Now I'm somehow trying to philosophize and you're trying to give out all the thing here. என்ன சுரேஷ்ஜி?
No, this is actually a fact of life. Any particularly the food item, if you have it after a long time, the taste is quadrupled actually.
Where are you, sir? There you go.
But in this,
Sir, just to can I comment on that? You know, many people believe it is a sense contact that gives pleasure. Sense contact does not give pleasure. Sense contact diminishes the pleasure. What gives you pleasure is one word answer, sir. What is it that gives you pleasure? One word answer. Before I ask, Gayatri Ma has showered her wisdom. What is that?
Abstinence.
Abstinence gives joy. So the greater you abstain, you are able to greater enjoy the sense enjoyment. So what gives you the pleasure is how long you have abstained, is not the point of contact. How you establish that, okay, the double ka meeta I'm having for breakfast, lunch, dinner for the whole week. What will happen to me? I will have to be admitted in ICU if I eat like that. Emergency, they'll rush me to the hospital. I will feel suffocated with the mere thought of double ka meeta. Why? Because of repeated contact. So contact, you lose the pleasure. Abstain, you gain pleasure. Therefore, the great masters led a life of abstinence. So, spiritual life is to live a life of control. But you're not abstaining because of forced rejection from the mind or intellect. You're abstaining because you want to revel in the higher values. But yet you can be in the marketplace when you're in the marketplace. I hope I don't confuse you all. It's not confusing. It's just such a complex, it's such an intricate science. And a study like this helps us to unearth the intricacies or nuances of what it is. All right. Yes, Harish.
Guruji, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I have two questions, Guruji. First question, what is then the difference between self-control and willpower?
A layman's term of self-control is willpower, but self-control is far more profound, because ultimately we are saying self-control is it's arising from the wisdom that you are established in.
Okay.
Willpower is from a layman's perspective, we may call it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
second question, Guruji, is self-control a form of temptation? Therefore, we have to exercise self-control, because there is a temptation to create a self-control. So is that a form of temptation to Guruji? If you know what I mean?
Is it a weakness, you mean?
Yes, a temptation is a weakness. So because there is a weakness, there is a self-control. But is it because of a form of temptation, therefore we are working towards a self-control?
So while you're driving your car, are you not expected to have a control of the vehicle?
Yes, we do.
There's a question of control of vehicle comes if you are not driving the car.
No.
Question doesn't arise. When you are acting, you are letting your senses into the world of sense objects. You're not locking yourself in a container, or you're not locking yourself in a isolated place where the world doesn't reach you. You're very much in the marketplace. You're going about freely. So there's nothing. You are very much in the world where there are various stimuli that reach you, right? So when it's like when you're driving, you are on the streets where different scenarios present itself to you, and you must have ability to control and steer yourself to your destination safely. The potential danger every corner, right?
Yeah.
In the second chapter of the Gita, do you have the second chapter, Ma? Sthita Prajna portion. 1 minute, I'll tell you which verse. Verses 57 onwards, please. 57, 58, 59. Samyama asking, what's the cause of lack of self-control? No intellect. Understood. No
56
intellectual
I
strength.
have. 57, 58, 59 I don't have.
Well, you don't have.
This I searched on the Pearls of Wisdom. In that it is not there. Or
Okay.
let me see Glory of Action once again.
இருக்கணும். அங்க இருக்கலாம். So I'm still answering a question, Harish, where when we talk of control, in the second chapter, where he's describing a man of perfection, he says, a man of perfection, he says, Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha means he who is everywhere without attachment. He talks of a person who he is everywhere. Spiritual man is everywhere. Wherever he is needed, he goes. But he goes there, he lives a life of non-attachment. He is detached. Wherever his obligation demands him, he goes. He's everywhere. That's one aspect in the 57th verse. In the 58th verse, he says, Yada samharate chayam kurmonganiva sarvashaha. Indriyan indriyarthebhya tasya prajna pratishtita. What does he say in the 58th verse? When like a tortoise withdrawing in limbs on all sides, he withdraws his senses from sense objects, then his wisdom is established. Now you get the point. First he says he is everywhere. Then he says he withdraws all his senses from sense objects. Means he is in the marketplace, but just like a tortoise that withdraws its limbs. Now, Harish, when does a tortoise withdraw its limbs?
When it senses some danger?
Correct. When it suspects any danger, it withdraws its limbs. Now, the danger here is sense objects. So, what does a man of wisdom withdraw? The senses. You know, the comparison here is a tortoise has got 4 legs, a tail, and a head. The 6 it withdraws under the shell. So a man of wisdom withdraws his 5 senses and the mind under the hard shell of the intellect. That's the comparison of a tortoise to a man of wisdom. Now, where is the danger? Everywhere there's danger because the world is full of sense objects, no? If a man of perfection is everywhere, he will be in a world where there's full of senses, sense objects. Then what will happen? He will have to remain permanently in a shell, right? To which in the 59th verse he says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. What he says there is, the sense objects turn away from a man of abstinence. So a man of perfection does not have to withdraw. Okay, let me ask this question to Panigraji. Panigraji, just for example, yesterday at the large function, let's say there was alcohol being offered. Was it being offered as information, please? Privately, at least? No. Okay. Let's say there was alcohol available to be offered. Okay. Discussion's sake. And you being the man in charge of the whole thing, would you have offered alcohol to me, sir? You please answer why you would not offer alcohol to me. You know what I am, but why would you not offer alcohol?
It depends upon the value system and the alcohol is already having an impression, and I am already familiar with you as a respected this thing. So in that sense, it's a natural judgment that
Natural judgment.
one will not think in that line.
So you would not offer alcohol to me because you know I have no desire. I don't consume alcohol. There is no demand from me. There's no desire in me.
Yes.
But you know somebody has interest or somebody is interested in alcohol. You will oblige and offer, right? So it's not just you, it is with everybody. The world will not come to me because I have no demand for it. So the sense objects itself will turn away from me because I am practicing internal abstinence. Now, these three verses 57, 58, 59 talks of self control, Harish. You are everywhere in the marketplace. You will withdraw your senses when there's danger. Danger is everywhere, but don't worry, the sense objects will not come and disturb you because you have chosen a path of wisdom. You are leading a life for wisdom, but wisdom doesn't mean you put on a robe or you put on a garb or you lock yourself in isolation. No, you are a man who is everywhere. Means you will do whatever you have to do. But your fact that you have chosen a path of wisdom, the world itself will not disturb you from your journey. Outstanding. He paints a picture of a man of perfection. So actually, a man of wisdom doesn't have to worry at all. The world itself will not disturb you. The world itself will facilitate your journey.
Yeah, I've got that verse. Shall I present?
And thanks for the effort, ma. But keep it on standby. Maybe you want to share. People want to take a snapshot. Yes, please. Just share for what it's worth, since they want to take. They will want to take a note of it. 57 first, please. Yeah. From the horse's mouth. Amazing. 58 is Kurma, like a tortoise. And then 59, he says, the sense objects itself turn away from him. So no need to worry. Thanks for the effort, Gayatri. Wonderful. Does it clarify, Harish? Thank you. Sureshji?
Guruji, I feel contentment and self-control probably go hand in hand. You know, I am reminded of an excellent anecdote. A tourist comes to a village, and that's a fishing village. There is a man sitting by the river and he's fishing, and the tourist is watching him. This man is he's so great in fishing. So beautifully he's catching the fishes. Then, the tourist comes to this man and he says, "Why are you wasting your time in this village? You know what? You're such an expert in fishing. You must come to the city where you have the ocean, and then you can fish more and more. You can train others in the skill, and there will be so many people working for you. You will start a huge company, and then you will go national. You will do a public issue. Then you will become an international person, and then, you'll be known all over the world." Now, this native says, after achieving all this, what will I do? Then the tourist says, then what? You can have an excellent retirement. You can come back and relax in your village and have a great time. Now the native says, what do you think I'm doing right now? What do you think I'm doing right now? And therefore, he is content in himself. To such a person, the allurements, what you throw at him, you can have this, you can have that. He is unaffected.
I'm only listening to it. I was thinking, I wish I also have the ability to put all this masala into that lecture. So much masala. That's no wonder it tastes very good, sir.
Thank you.
So you said self-control and contentment
probably go hand in hand. My uncle used to say, contentment is a continual feast.
See, contentment, the contentment is with reference when your desires are satiated, sir. Contented is you have no further desires. Because opposite of contentment is you are all the time avarice. You want more and more. So it addresses one aspect of the mind where you put that desiring of the mind to rest, contentment. Self-control, obviously, the desire is very much there, but you understand the futility in it.
Yeah.
You see a slight if you dissect it, since you're comparing, it has a slightly different aspect. Contentment, the desire itself is not there.
Okay.
The desire is there, but you have a taste or appreciation for something, but you're not a prey to that temptation. You enjoy, but you don't indulge.
Very true. Very true.
Right, G. So we'll have to come back to this journey of these 20 qualities. See, however much ever you may fathom the intricacies of it, it is only it's not trying to make you technical or proficient in the intricacies of the concept, but end of the day, the satsangs, what it does is you're exercising the buddhi, exercising the intellect. That's the thing. And ultimately, knowledge comes your way and the intellect also gets stretched because you are exercising and you are thinking along the through the whole satsang itself. Okay. I think Gayatri wants to give one last gentle reminder for the upcoming Homam. Yes, ma'am.
Hari Om. Wisdom Foundation has started its facility at Sainik Puri in 2022 April. And this 5th of April, we are celebrating this 3rd anniversary. It starts with the Ganpati Homam at 8 o'clock, followed by music by Mr. D. Srinivas, and then followed by Guruji's talk. I request all the members to personally come and visit. And it's not just to Hyderabad people alone, even outstation people, please make arrangements to come for the venue on the 5th of April at 8 a.m. Hari Om.
I believe it will be, the music will be streamed online.
We are trying to, yes, music will be, from music onwards, it will be online through via Zoom also. But as I said, it would be preferably that all people do come to the institute, especially Hyderabad people do join us.
Yes, yes.
Also, please inform your family and close relatives as well.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.